What if you could walk away from your job in your 30s or 40s, never needing a paycheck again? The dream of retiring early isn't just for trust fund kids or lottery winners. It's a calculated strategy called FIRE, short for Financial Independence Retire Early. And right now, thousands are pulling it off, while others watch their plans crumble under inflation, market crashes, and the brutal reality that their math was wrong from the start. The catalyst behind this movement is simple. People realized the traditional retirement timeline is a trap designed for a world that no longer exists. Work until you're 65, then enjoy your golden years when your knees hurt and your energy's gone? We started doing the math differently, flipping the script by asking how little we actually need to spend versus how much we're told to earn. And suddenly, early retirement stopped being a fantasy and became a spreadsheet problem. Here's the core formula, stripped down to its bones. Multiply your annual spending by 25, and that's your target nest egg. The amount you need invested to withdraw 4% per year indefinitely without running out. If you spend $40,000 a year, you need $1 million invested. If you can live on $30,000, you only need $750,000. This 4% rule comes from historical stock market returns and the Trinity study, which showed a diversified portfolio could sustain that withdrawal rate through 30-year retirements, even during nasty market downturns. Though critics now argue inflation and longer lifespans make 3.5% safer. A few years ago, FIRE was everywhere. Bloggers retiring at 30, couples living in vans, people moving to low cost of living countries, and documenting every latte they didn't buy. Now the headlines have quieted. Not because the concept failed, but because reality hit. Healthcare costs in America are terrifying without employer insurance. Sequence of returns risk can demolish your plan if you retire right before a crash. And living on beans and rice for a decade to retire early sounds romantic until you're actually doing it while your friends are traveling and enjoying their 20s. The psychological toll is real, and you'll find forums full of people second-guessing whether they saved enough, whether they pulled the trigger too early, whether one more year of work would have made the difference. Yet you'll also find the success stories, the early retirees who've been financially independent for 10, 15 years now, who survived the 2008 crash and the COVID market chaos, who quietly prove it works if you build in buffers and don't cut it too close. History shows us market cycles are predictable in pattern, if not in timing. Every 7 to 10 years, we get a correction. Every couple decades, a real crash. And yet, over any 30-year period, the market has always recovered and grown. The FIRE crowd, who retired in 2007, right before the financial crisis, most of them made it through by having cash reserves, by cutting spending temporarily, by picking up a little side work, by doing exactly what the strategy says to do when markets tank. Nothing panicky. I missed the early FIRE wave myself, watching from the sidelines as people half my age retired while I was still figuring out my career. And the lesson wasn't that I should have started earlier, but that starting now is always better than starting later. Every historical cycle teaches the same thing. Time in the market beats timing the market, consistency beats conviction, and the people who win are the ones who show up and keep showing up through the boring middle years when nothing exciting is happening. The misconception everyone gets wrong is thinking FIRE means you need to be miserable now to be happy later, that you're choosing between living today and living tomorrow. The truth is, FIRE forces you to figure out what actually makes you happy. Most people find that cutting expenses isn't about deprivation, but about cutting the stuff that wasn't adding value anyway, the subscription services you forgot about, the car payment on a vehicle you bought to impress people you don't like, the bigger house that just means more rooms to clean. Here's what actually works. Max out tax advantage accounts first, because saving $15,000 in a Roth IRA or $23,000 in a 401k gives you tax benefits that compound over decades. Use a health savings account like a stealth retirement account. It's triple tax advantage if you save receipts and let it grow. Build your portfolio around low-cost index funds, tracking the total stock market. Because trying to pick winners or time the market is how you lose to someone who just bought and held, and keep at least 1 to 2 years of expenses in cash or bonds so you're not forced to sell stocks during a crash. Increase your savings rate however you can. Negotiate raises, start a side hustle, sell stuff you don't need, move to a cheaper city if that makes sense for your life. Cut recurring costs ruthlessly, because saving $50 a month on a cable bill you don't watch is $50 a month. That compounds into $30,000 over 20 years. Model different scenarios. What happens if the market returns 5% instead of 7%? What if you live to 95 instead of 85? What if healthcare costs double? And if your plan survives the worst case scenarios, then you know you're not cutting it too thin. The philosophical truth underneath all the spreadsheets and optimization is this: FIRE isn't really about retiring early. It's about buying back your time and your choices. It's about reaching a point where you work because you want to, not because you have to. Where a bad boss or a corporate restructuring can't derail your entire life because you've built a foundation that can't be shaken by someone else's decisions. Whether you retire at 35, 45, 55, or never, the process of pursuing financial independence makes you better with money, more intentional with spending, more focused on what actually matters. Discipline beats motivation. Position sizing beats conviction. And consistency beats everything else. It's not about being right once. It's about being reasonable for decades. The people who succeed aren't the ones who find the perfect withdrawal rate or the perfect investment. They're the ones who build a plan, stress test it against reality, then execute it without drama or second guessing through bull markets and bear markets alike. And honestly, I'm comfortable with whatever happens because I've done the math, built the buffers, and accepted that the future is uncertain but preparation is rational. Whether you're looking to retire early, build real estate investments to generate passive income, renovate properties to increase value, or connect with lenders who understand investor strategies, we can help you get started. Check out our links in the description below.